Hey guys, how's it going? My name's always, and welcome back to Stoneblock 3. In the last episode, we made a vanilla farm. I know, amazing. We automated it with Create, but we made a lava farm, and it's doing pretty well. We have 26 buckets of lava, which is great because we need a lot of lava for obsidian, and we need a lot of obsidian right now. So, been having our latex processing system working, and we're slowly getting more latex, but power is becoming a huge issue. I've also been breeding up some chickens because we need to get some pink slime. They are looking at me. We'll deal with this in a little bit. There are so many. I have so much stuff on my person right now. We'll get to that stuff in a minute, but there are so many chickens in there, and they produce so many eggs that I'm just gonna start putting them in here. And yeah, so between episodes, I've been getting rubber for plastic for some stuff that we're going to work on today. And I dug out a small room for something we're going to do in a little bit. Because one of the things that we need, so we have like 5 different things going on right now. We need to get power. And we need to get that pretty urgently because I've thrown a stack of diamonds into here because this thing ran out of power again. We're slightly using more power than we need. This is using 18. This uses like 50. So we're using like, what, 70? I had to... Yeah, 70. I had to put the magmator on here to get some extra power just because we kept running out. This thing is only producing 48 FE per tick, and that's just not enough. So we're gonna bite the bullet. We can go ahead and start making some of these basic thermo generators. We can make the very first one, and that is gonna generate 20 extra FE per tick. If we can get it to harden, which I don't think we can, we might be able to get it to a basic tier. We're going to need blaze powder. That's the big thing. And so for right now, what we're going to do, we have 8 blaze rods. I'm going to take half of those. We have 6 blaze powder in here, but I'm going to go ahead and throw these guys in here. Apparently you can place blaze rods. I just want to grab whatever is... Okay, perfect. I put a funnel on here so that it kind of does better, so it can keep stuff in here. And I guess we'll just take the gravel for now. But this is breaking down the blaze rods. We have a like 25% chance of getting a little bit more. And yeah, we're gonna do some things to get more resources. So the first thing I want to do before anything else is I want to make a temporal pouch. This thing works like a time in a bottle, if you're familiar with that mod. If you're not, it basically increases the tick speed of whatever you use it on. So you keep it in your inventory, and over time it gathers grains of time, or whatever you want to call it, and eventually you can use it to speed up things like the flute extractor, which would work a lot faster. And basically it's called tick acceleration. It's going to be super important later. And so I want to go ahead and get a temporal pouch just so that we can have this sitting in the background. We do need some raw gold, and we luckily have more than enough. We need 18, and I think we can almost craft it. So what we're gonna do is get the raw gold. We can put our bowl in there, and we're gonna take a saddle. And I set the mill stone back up just with some cogs, and we're gonna throw that in there. We have really no use for a saddle at all, but this is going to allow us. So if we take blocks of gold, we need an ender eye and a nautilus shell, which we got a while ago, and we just need some leather. So we will need 1 more of those pesky little saddles, which we've been getting saddles from various things, And then do we have any more ender pearls? We have one. Perfect. We're going to take blaze powder. And there we go. Now, something else I want to see. Do we have much magma? No, not yet. Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get this saddle going. And we'll put that there. And we'll come back to that in a second. Something else that I want to start working towards, and it's going to require more plastic and power. We're going to use these drippers, and I want to see how it works. We're going to put a dripper there, and if I put a block of compressed cobblestone there, we're going to put a bucket of lava in the dripper, and it's going to drip onto the compressed cobblestone, much like this whole system. Let's grab our leather. We have the leather. Perfect. There is our temporal pouch. Awesome. That is a quest we can complete and get an absorption hopper, which is for levels. So I just want to see if this ever uses up. So that's going to take some time, probably. What this is supposed to do, if we look at the uses of this, it will eventually, with a 60% chance, turn compressed cobblestone into a magma block. Let's see if it still works there. Let's actually take this out, break this. Let's do 2 tests because we can. And if this is something that works, magma blocks can be turned into obsidian very easily. So it might be a better way. So we'll just do that and we'll see how that goes. Alright, some of this stuff is for that project. So I guess the next thing I want to work on is let's go ahead and make a thermo generator. Let's try to make the basic tier thermo generator. And I want to see... We can't make capacitors, can we? We can make the dielectric casing. We are going to need one of those. And we are going to need tiny capacitors. So we're going to need one basic capacitor turned into tiny capacitors. And then we're going to need these thermo plates, which require 1, 2, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. That's exactly how many we need. So we should be able to, if we make another tiny capacitor, we should be able to make the first tier of thermo generators, which was a quest. It looks like make any of them. We got a bomb. That's nice. Let's just throw those in there. And then we should be able to make the next tier of thermo generator if we can get 2 more capacitors and another dielectric casing, which we should be able to do. Perfect. So that is the basic tier thermo generator. Now, what we need to do with this is it's going to be kind of complicated, but basically we can make power by giving it water, and I believe, oh man, I got to remember how. Let's look at the book. Hey, these both work perfect, so we can get magma from that. Now, did it use any lava? It did. Okay. So it will slowly use lava. That's fine. It looks like this is a much better way than this one. So let's just do that, and I'll manually do it for right now until those are empty. So that is something I want to work on, because if we can get magma blocks, we can turn magma blocks with bulk washing into obsidian. And guess what? We have bulk washing going on constantly right over here. And so what we can do is get a bunch of magma blocks and just put them in here. And then eventually they will pop right here onto the depot. And everything will be great. So in fact they are... wait, hold up. We got a filter. I forgot. That is okay. We'll grab the magma blocks, and I'll deal with that in a second. You know what? Let's turn this entire system off for a little bit, and then I can make the change without having to worry about anything. So that should prevent these from doing anything, and should be good. Okay. So I will get this set up so that it can accept the magma blocks, and then we can get obsidian really easily. And that is going to be great. So part of that is we need to make a block breaker and a block placer. We've made a block placer before, but the block breaker is going to cause some issues potentially. But I'm going to wait until we get some more supplies before we really look into that. So what are we going to do? We don't need that anymore. Real quick, I want to make a upgrade to our furnace. In fact, we're going to make 2 of these. And just to be safe, we're going to take out the coal of both of them and upgrade these to diamond furnaces. So that will be a lot quicker and it will be awesome. We could probably also... Oh yeah, we could actually go ahead and upgrade them to emerald. So let's do that. 1, 2. So these things are going to be fast. And, you know, just an example, we can smelt up, let's just say, a single block of stone. Yeah, that's really fast. Perfect. So let's go ahead and let's talk about some of the other things we're going to do. So in order to make the next tier of thermo generators, we're going to need... Wow, I got really sidetracked. I just realized I wanted to come over here for... do we have the power book? I might have to look it up, which is fine. I can do that here in a little bit. No, it's right here. Manual power. So the thermo generator... It generates energy when placed on top of a high temperature block fluid like lava and requires... Alright, so perfect. So we could go ahead and start generating power from this thing. The fact that it has water in it is kind of whatever. We can deal with that later. And so what we're going to do for right now... Wow, that is actually really efficient. We're going to set up a system to make this very, very soon. Once we get the plastic, really. So what we need to do, we need to get power. We need to get the flux controller and the flux plug and all of that stuff. If we want to make a higher tier thermo generator, we need to get energized steel, which requires energizing. Requires a good bit of power, requires some other things. And so what we're going to do right now is let's go ahead and let's actually set this up right over here. And this is going to be very temporary. So that the sticks, we need those for a second. I got completely sidetracked in that. I apologize. There is just so much that I want to try to get done. And I don't remember what those sticks are called. So fire plow. There's so much that I want to try to get done. And we haven't even like scratched the surface, and like the episode time is going to take so much. So we're just going to do that. And if we put this here, it's going to start generating power. Perfect. So what we can do now is we need to start making some of these. We need to make the energizing orb, which is just some glass casing and some dielectric rods. Nothing too difficult there. And we're going to start producing some stuff. So one thing to note, the thermo generator, one of the blocks that it can set on is blazing crystal, blocks of blazing crystal, which is, if we can get 9 blaze rods, pretty easy. It's expensive on power, but it's going to give us the most power for our thermo generators. So let's go ahead and make this stuff. So we are going to need another dielectric casing. It is missing 2 of those things. Let's go ahead and do that, and then you can do that. And then we need 3 of those. It's going to craft it up. It unfortunately uses the blaze powder, but that's fine for right now. So we have the energizing orb. We only need 1 of those. And then the starter things, we're going to need a few of them. So let's just do 1 for now. And it's just going to take time. But we can make an energizing rod if we get another capacitor. And capacitor. So we get 1 of these. And then let's go ahead and get it to the basic tier. It does require another dielectric casing. So instead of just saying die on there, I'm going to say dielectric. So we get this. And eventually we'll get more automation and all that kind of stuff. It's going to take some time. So there is the basic tier. And then the hardened tier requires energized steel. So we can't do that yet. Now this is going to just literally take time. And the way this works is we place this thing wherever we want it. And we put an energizing rod nearby. And if we isn't that the what's the key binding? Hide show. It's control. Can I just hit O? Let's do control O. That's fine. So control O to hide that. So this does have power. Has a bunch of power. This is working just fine. So facing up, extract, that's perfect. Okay, so then what we need to do is if we want to get some of the hardened steel, energized steel, we need gold and iron. So unfortunately, it is a little bit difficult to automate this because you can put as many items as you want into this. But let's just get a few. And all we have to do, also put this and that away. Don't need those. All we have to do is right click the energizing orb with gold and iron, and then that will give a line, and then eventually we get our energized steel. And it does give us 2 per. So we'll be able to increase this, and we'll be able to make these better, and basically all of power is about upgrades. So we're going to leave this stuff for now. Let's do a couple more things. First thing I want to do is make a block breaker. So we're going to make a block breaker, which is going to require an iron shovel, iron pickaxe. We're going to need, let's also make the compacting door because we do need 1 of these. So that's just going to require 2 pistons, which can't we auto-craft those? No. Man, I've got a lot of work to start doing. I think one of the next projects, once we get power kind of situated, we are going to work on automating refined storage the rest of the way. And then we can kind of go from there with more automation and all that kind of fun stuff. So we need 2 iron gears. We need this machine frame thing. We're going to need a gold gear. And is that it? Yes. So the block breaker. I wanted to make this because I want to see a couple things. So if I click it down, it's where it's aimed. And output directional. Okay, so I don't know if this is something that if we can put. Okay, so we can put stuff here. Now let's grab some power. And the easiest way I know how to do that is to do this. We will input, and I don't know how much power it requires per like block broken, but I want to see if we fill this up completely with cobblestone. The block breaker wants to put items into its own inventory. If we try to break a block, so you have power, are you going to try to... Alright, you still break it. That is a problem. So what we want to see, the issue is we want it to not break compressed cobblestone. That's bad. So we're going to have to figure out a way. So I'm going to have to think about this for a little bit and figure out a way to automate this so that it is not going to take the compressed cobblestone, but only the magma blocks. Do we have observers in this? We do. I'm gonna have to think about that one for a little bit. But all right, we have so much going on. So we have a thermo generator. We have. I'm gonna have to work on this a little bit, but for now, I'm gonna do it manually and just break these things. Once we get enough plastic, we can get a another block placer. I can speak. We can get another block placer, and then we can, you know, actually, we're going to do something real quick as well. We can automate that completely. So let's grab, we have a few more basic universal cables. Let's break this. If we do that, and then this, you have power, you're generating power, and these guys should all stay powered. And we can just put that there, and it does not look good there. We can put this here, and it's fine. And we can still use the energizing orb. Okay, that'll work for now. I don't want to pick this up until I can get rid of the lava underneath. And I think I want to wait. So we have the block breaker. I think I want to wait for... so the big thing we need is the flux blocks. If we can get these, which requires obsidian and eyes of ender, we can do wireless power, which makes my life a lot easier. We can also... so the other thing that we want to do is we want to try to get more stuff so that we can get... Let's see if we can get some more things. Let's go ahead. Let's grab a chest. Sort the inventory a little bit. So what... Alright, let's grab some wood, planks. That works. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to get some resources flowing in. Blazes are going to be kind of a pain for right now until we can get mob duplication. That's what we're going to focus on with that. Let's put these over here for right now. So the magma blocks. I've got a cobblestone gen. I will probably upgrade this to at least... I mean, we'll probably upgrade it to gold. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. The compacting drawers for this, as well as the item pipe, so that we can extract, and that'll be fine. So, and then the compressed cobblestone, we'll put that in there. So, in order to get everything we need for wireless power and more power, because we're going to set up kind of like a machine room, somewhere that is just going to be the thermo generators and all that kind of power generation stuff. We'll have some emergency power if need be, and whatnot. So I gotta kind of plan that stuff out. But in order to get a lot of the wireless power, we're going to need all of these flux cores, and specifically the flux blocks. We're gonna want one of these relatively soon. We did make a bunch of flux dust last episode, or episode before, a while ago, at some point. But we need obsidian, which is why we're trying to get the magma blocks, and then the eyes of ender. So we need ender pearls and blaze powder. Blaze powders come back to trying to get blazes in general, which will allow us to make more thermo generators and all that kind of fun stuff. The blazing crystals are also, surprise, surprise, blaze rods. And we also need blazes to make blazing blood, to make our Tinker's construct stuff. We need blazes. And so let's go ahead and get that first. So what we're going to do is we're going to power this block for a second. And we just need a bucket of pink slime. So this is murdering the chickens in there. And once we have a bucket of pink slime, there we go. We don't need this anymore. This whole thing we can get rid of. We don't need more pink slime for a little bit. So with that, we can use the dissolution chamber. And for ease, we're just going to put it over here. Right here looks fine. It's going to get so much power. And what we need to do now is we need to make 2 of these advanced machine frames. Now, we need a simple machine frame for both of these. And let's go ahead and grab... Oh my gosh, so many eggs. I'm going to probably murder all those chickens because we don't really need them. I don't know. I'll probably leave them for now. I'll figure something out. Also, I have some tiny dry rubber in there. Do we have any other... Okay. So we are going to need another bucket. So let's make one of those. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to pick this thing up. That doesn't have quite enough. And we're going to turn this off so that we can start getting a little bit more latex there. And we need the latex so that we can make these machine frames. So let's go ahead and... we need netherite scrap for that. So simple machine frame we can make. So we're going to need 2 of these. And I want to see... You know, we can just do this. And if we do this... Alright, that tank doesn't like this. I guess we do have the mechanical pipes. And I was expecting to, like, not record this entire episode in one false swoop. I wasn't expecting to record this episode all at once, but apparently I am. So we need the mechanical pipe, and we need our configurator out of our backpack, and this is fine. So we're also gonna, let's go ahead and grab some of the other stuff that we need for the simple machine frame. So we're gonna need some nether brick. So we need some nether rack, and we need 4 of those, which we can then smelt up real quick. Put the eggs in there as well, and the bowl. We will eventually clean this out as well. We'll get there. So then we're going to need 2 of these. We're going to need iron and 2 gold gears. Iron. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to throw this in here for right now. So there is the nether brick, and then the last thing that we're going to need is plastic. But I want to get the latex in here first. So presumably we can do something like this and configurator it so that's in there. Perfect. And then that is not what we want. So gold gear, nether bricks, those, machine, and then I do have enough plastic for 1. And let's go ahead and let this run again. And that might make enough. Let's actually wait around and see. No, I'm not gonna. You know what? This is what this was for. So, can we? We can speed this up. Perfect. Can we speed it up more? We can. How about this one? We can. Alright, so if we can get 2 more anytime soon. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have accumulated. Perfect. We can make at least the next tier of things. So we'll just smelt this up. Will not take very long. And then we can make 2 of these simple machine frames. So let's just do this. And then, after that, we can start working towards... So it's going to use all that power. We're going to break this for now. Same with this. And we'll deal with that in a minute. So it ran out of power. Oh, that's not good. So if it doesn't have enough power, it just... Ooh, we need to charge this up completely. And this is generating enough power. Okay, so while that's doing its thing, we might have to do that next time, which is fine. We're going to do 2 more things. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab a spawn egg. We have an Enderman spawn egg. This is kind of important because I made that little room over there, right? And we can actually spawn in Enderman at as many as we want. Now, I don't know if we have any, like, tethers or... There is the potential that there's something in this mod pack that will let us prevent Enderman from teleporting around. But I don't see anything that looks like it would. So we'll live. Creates a large disruptive area which teleports things away. Not what I want. I want the opposite. I've seen an item that's like an Ender Tether or something like that that prevents Enderman from teleporting. Not something that we can really do anything with right now. But I have all these cardboard boxes. I don't know what's in them. We're going to put some torches down. And when I say I don't know what's in them, I mean that they are spawners. We need to clean this up just a little bit. So we put this down. We can shift right click it, and it is a skeleton spawner. That is not one I want to use. This is a vindicator. That's not what I want to do. Okay. We need to be smarter about this. We're gonna leave that there for right now. Let's put this down. Let's put all of these down. And then we're gonna pick this one back up. And let's put that in here. Actually, let's grab a chest. And we'll put that out here. Because that's... Vindicators can give us emeralds. I don't know if that's something I'll want, but if we have another Vindicator... So that's a skeleton. Zombie. That is what I was looking for. So we can take this zombie spawner, and if we put it right here, we can pick all these guys up. At some point, I'll have to figure out which one's which. Unfortunately, there is, like, no data on these that tell you. Like, if I do advanced... Well... If I hover over it, it doesn't say. If I do the advanced tooltips, it doesn't say. So, no idea. But we can take this off, and now we have a zombie spawner. And if we just do this, now we have an Enderman spawner. Fun fact, that's vanilla. That is a vanilla feature, and I didn't know it for the longest time. But we can put, a Enderman spawner in here. and murder Enderman and get Ender Pearls. Now, I would love to have a better sword with, like, oh, I don't know, like higher sharpness and looting. I don't think we have any looting. I mean, we have Silk Touch books, but I don't think we have any looting books. So that might be something to kind of think about, but yeah, it is definitely something we can do. So let's see, we have 10,000 power in there. This hasn't actually used anything, which is good. We need 18,000, so there is a lot of power in there. So presumably, we can make this, yes. Ignore. So we will go ahead and make this guy. That is just a cardboard box. I don't know if I have any more space. No. So there is the first simple machine. And it doesn't matter like how they're organized or anything like that. It all works just fine. So let's go ahead. While that is doing its thing, we'll throw this away. And we'll throw those in there. Actually, the singularity tank and the mechanical pipe we might want still. But if we want to make the mob duplicator, we're going to need netherite scraps, gold, and diamond. And I don't know that we have that quite yet. Let's see, it's debris. How do we use these again? Don't we have to, like, smelt them up or something? Yeah, we've got to smelt them up. And then we can make the scrap. So this is, like, 5 scrap. So we can go ahead and do that. No. Nope, it's not hot enough. Of course. Alright, so the thing we're going to have to do is figure out if we have... I mean, we do have 1 inch debris. We can... Can we do anything good with this? Induction smelter will give us 2. And then we would just need 1 more. Is there any other way we can get more netherite scrap easily? Enrichment chamber crusher would give us 3. But I don't have a crusher yet. You know what? That might be worth it because we do have 1 scrap in here. We're going to need 4 scrap in total to make both advanced machine frames because we need we would like a mob crusher. That's something we can actually hook up here. We give it some power, kills Enderman for us. It'd be great. So that is a possibility. I'm going to think about that. But unfortunately, let's see, I believe we can... I'll have to get the rest of the fluid. There is a little bit of fluid left in there. But I think we are kind of at that point in the episode where it's time to end things off. So, we got a lot done today. We have an Enderman spawner. We can get Ender Pearls. I can manually farm it, not that big of an issue. We have a Thermo Generator. We have some power that we can then use to get more stuff. Right now, we need obsidian, which the magma blocks are useful for. I'm just going to need to get a little bit more stuff set up. And basically, oh, hey, these are empty now. Perfect. We're probably only going to use 1. And then what we can also do is hook it up to a tank so it automatically gets lava. Nothing too major. I'll make another block placer. And then we just hook that up. This is why we have the pipe and the compacting drawer with a cobble gen. We make cobblestone. We hook it up to the block placer. Everything's great. So then it's just going to be a matter of getting some we should be able to use mechanical pipes for this, but the jumbo tank will put lava, and we'll have infinite magma blocks, which means we have obsidian. I'm gonna get the wash thing to be able to accept, which I can probably go ahead and do that right now. Fortunately, it's gonna break that. We could put silk touch on our Paxel. Do I want that? I don't know. Anyways, I will deal with that between episodes. And then we have obsidian, we have ender pearls. We just need blaze rods at this point, and we can get a lot of stuff done. We can get wireless power, which is going to be huge. We can start getting blazing blood, which is going to give us more smeltery stuff. It's going to be great. So we have a lot of stuff to do still, but we're making progress. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!